about the sinuses. It's nice to have a cup of tea though. So hopefully this one's on the right page. And hopefully this one appears live. Be good. My disclaimer is, I'm a holistic therapist, not a video maker or a camera person. But I'm learning. I'll never forget that, but posting it in the wrong page. All the people in my umbrella Ella were like, what is she doing? Why is she doing it? Well, really? Anyway. Sinuses, sinuses. So my time slot is in another 8 minutes, which is when I shall be starting. So hello to anybody who's here. So hope you've got a little bit of SPF sun cream for the day that's in it. Looks like it's going to be a good one. I'd like to think that you don't have any issues with your sinuses today. But it could be a day for it. Might be a day for ice cream. So that might be one that instigates things for people's sinuses. Hello Tamara, how are you? You never believe the sun is shining here in the west of Ireland. And I have no socks on. That's how bad it is. That's how good it is. I'm definitely in bad need of a haircut or figuring some way to tie up my hair that I know doesn't look like I just don't care. So the time slot to start is 12:40, so we just have a few more minutes to begin. I'm very curious about my session too. One never quite knows where it will go, does one? Especially if one doesn't post it to the right page. Sure, every day is the school day, they say. No? So we just have 5 minutes to wait. Waiting for a bus, really, isn't it? So if anybody does have any questions they'd like to ask me in relation to your sinuses or anything, just in case it's something that I may not have planned to talk about, this little live will be something that I would cover, advice I would give in relation to patients who would come in, and hello Grace, and I would treat patients for sinuses quite a lot. Acupuncture is great for it if you are somebody who suffers with sinuses quite a lot. It can be wonderful, and I'm not saying that you have to go and see an acupuncturist. I suppose we all need a hand sometimes with some ailments that we have, so it's just a suggestion, but I have seen some amazing relief for people from even one acupuncture session, actually, believe it or not. The youngest person I think I've treated in relation to the face for nasal related, he actually had hay fever. I think he was 8, and his dad said it was quite amazing. He had a couple of sessions. It was all around the same area, but yeah, sometimes we all need a hand, lads. Sometimes we all need a hand. Yes, and anything that can help can be beneficial. I think I've only actually suffered with my sinuses once, that I had sinuses. Hello Freddie, this one has worked. Yes, thank the dead gods. So we're just going to give it a couple more minutes. So if anybody has any particular question you have in relation to your sinuses or anything, this is, as I said, this is a little bit of advice I would give to clients who have sinus related issues. I'm not saying don't take antibiotics. Sometimes they are very necessary. But sometimes there's a lot we can do for ourselves, is one thing. And in that, then sometimes we need a hand, and acupuncture can be actually really wonderful for people who have a lot of congestion in relation to sinuses. And yeah, but home treatment obviously is something you can do 7 days a week. And I suppose not to allow it to build up would be a massive thing. To work on it before it gets to a level of serious discomfort. And for some people that could happen quite quickly, and for others less. But yeah, there's a few things we can do to help maybe prevent it accelerating, and to help in easing the sense of pressure and headaches that can be related to it, and the foggy headedness. So that's what I'm going to deal with today. There's a couple of tools I'm going to introduce you to. They are not difficult to work, and they're not difficult to come by, I would think. And you might have some on them already. One lady, actually, I did a short video on this the other day, and one lady said to me, oh, my daughter bought me one of those facial rollers. I didn't know I could use it for that. So there you go, you might have one already. Who knows? I love things that can do more than one job. So we're just going to give it another minute. And it would appear that I'm on the right platform this time. So as I said, my disclaimer is I'm a holistic therapist, not a camera person. So think gently of me in lines of this. And I hope wherever you are in the world, it's nice and sunny. I have no socks on today. What an achievement. On this, the 24th of April. I should know the date because my kid's birthday is on Monday. Twins that turn 15. And there wasn't a hope in hell I was going to get anybody to appear as my models to work on today, so I could talk and they would help me demo, but no. Okay, so we're going to begin now. So good afternoon, and you're very welcome to Love Clinic. Fiona McDonough, that's me. We're in my treatment space. I'm a holistic therapist. I practice acupuncture, craniosacral therapy, sound therapy, and I teach small yoga classes. And when I'm next allowed, I will be doing some lovely combinations of sound and yoga, which are really delightful. Really looking forward to that. So the sun's shining today, and hopefully your sinuses aren't bothering you too much, but they might do on occasion. Now, I confess, I think I've had sinusitis once in my life, but I do remember it was something that my father would have suffered quite badly with, and was something that he ended up having taken to the bed with. So I've witnessed, I suppose you could say, firsthand how badly people can be affected, but I thankfully have not been that badly affected. So I suppose in terms of treatment for people, now this will be a demo about a few ideas you can do at home, but I'm just going to say that I have treated lots of people who've had sinusitis. I have a tickly piece of hair there. So sinuses are here and all around here, and they're the empty cavities in your head. Because if they were filled, well, we wouldn't be able to hold our heads up. Our heads would be an awful lot heavier, and they're heavy enough. But of course they can fill with mucus and whatnot. So sometimes people have an issue where they have a deviated septum. Some people have polyps, and some people are just more prone to them than others. So I wouldn't be particularly prone to them, but as I say, I've treated lots of people who have had ongoing with sinuses. So people who would come to my clinic would be treated with acupuncture, and we would use points along here. So even if you were to see what difference it makes to my wife. So if you press to these corner points of your nose, there's kind of slight hollows, and you press in and you press up. Your voice will go like that. That's actually quite relieving. So those are points that I would use. I'd use points here, depending on where it is for the person, and I would use ones up around the head area. Maybe your ears were affected, maybe down around here was affected. So it can be a whole head experience, or it could be right-sided or left-sided or frontal, and neither of the cheeks. So yeah, I would treat people quite on a regular basis. I've treated people. One lady came to me and she had, I believe, I think it was 3 or 4 rounds of antibiotics. She came first session, she came the next week, and she said she couldn't believe the difference. So a couple of things I would always tell people post-treatment would be, one is mind your dairy intake. Now, I'm not suggesting for a moment that anybody is allergic or intolerant to dairy, okay? But what I will tell you is that when you take dairy, it's sticky. And if there's stickiness here, you can imagine it's just feeding it. So I personally don't actually drink milk. I haven't for, years. My mother introduced us to having water at home, and I've never gone back to drinking milk. And if I had a small glass of milk, and I'm talking even a small glass like that size, I would get very phlegmy. So if you notice something like that with you, am I saying you're allergic intolerant? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that you get phlegmy with it. So if you do get phlegmy, that's a little bit of congestion. It's here as opposed to here. So that might be a sign for you. But if and when your sinuses are bothered, are bunged up, you've the pressure feeling, or your eyes are sore, and you've got a headache, or you kind of have to take to the bed because you can't see right, I would say avoid taking dairy. And that's in your cereal, in your tea, in your coffee. If sinuses is something that you would find gets congested on a fairly regular basis, I'd take a look at how much dairy you intake. That could be from butter to ice cream, all of it, and maybe if you pull back on saying, if you have, a pint of milk in your breakfast cereal, or a half pint of milk in breakfast cereal, if you pull back from that, maybe you'll be able to have an ice cream and it won't affect you. You see, we are what we eat, because we eat 7 days a week, and sometimes we eat 7 times a day, depending. Small amounts, not a big amount of dinner. The other thing would be, the second thing dietary wise would be sugar. Now that can be, this lady in particular that came to see me, she worked night shift. And because she worked night shift, she really enjoyed a cup of tea at work. She put 2 spoons of sugar in it, and because she needed to drink it in a hurry, she put a lot of milk in it. So those were 2 things that she really watched for a week solid, and the difference was amazing. So I always say to my clients is, don't take my word for it. Prove me wrong. Try lessening it for a week and see how you get on. If you feel a difference, then it makes a difference to you. So yeah, sugar, and that can be hidden sugars as well. And obviously alcohol contains a considerable amount of sugar. But if you take sugar in tea, try just lessening it. It can be a hard jump to go from 2 spoons of sugar to 0. And I'm not suggesting making life really hard. I'm just saying try it. So dairy is number 1, sugar is number 2. Wheat can be another one for some people again. If I personally ate something that's got a lot of wheat in it, I would feel it here, actually, more than I would feel if I had an ice cream. I'd have a sense here of a bit of congestion. Not painful, it's not, I'm not saying that I have sinusitis, but it's just an awareness and a tenderness around it until it shifts. Increasing your water intake. And even if you drink, you know, a pint of water a day, try having 2. And if you put lemon into it, fresh lemon or freshly squeezed lemon, it's really, really good because it helps to eliminate, detoxify and clear the system a little bit. So then that's a couple of small things you can do dietary wise. And as I say, no disrespect to anybody else, you can go and take antibiotics, and this kind of thing won't be something that will come up into topic. But we are what we eat. We can't remove ourselves from our food. We eat 7 days a week, and as I say, several times a day. So another thing you can do is, if your sinuses, if this is really painful and pressured and no ease in it, is, forgive my model, it's my little Bridget Stone. So say this is your bed. You lie your body on your bed. Ooh, Bridget doesn't have a very bendy neck. And you're tipping your head off your bed like so. What that does is it allows your sinuses to drain into the back of your nose and your throat. Now, if you have any neck issues, do not lie like this, okay? This is only if you are comfortable enough to do it. Now, if you can hold it for like 10 minutes, great. If you can't, do what you can do. But what happens is it drains, backs away, and it comes back to here. And basically it's to help shift it and move it out through your throat, okay? So that's one little thing you can do. Massage is another thing. So you take your fingers along here and you take along the the circular bone around your face. Sorry, trying to use a fancy term. So you like your higher cheekbone, and you're massaging along gently and coming down around the side of your jaw. And oftentimes you'll find, you know, if you've got a cold or you feel that scratchiness in your ears, which has nothing to do with sinuses, but you might have had when you feel a cold. So coming down here and you're trying to drain it basically down towards your lymph, really nice and gently. And you're doing that a couple of times. Always nice and gentle with the face, don't be pulling it too much. And then across the sinuses, you're taking the fingers and you're just pinching. And again, you're draining it down and rubbing down around the side. A nice little facial massage. And then one I would use in the clinic. So when I treat somebody, as I said, I use needles. We use body acupuncture as well with, even if it is sinuses of cheeks and forehead, because the theory behind it is that, you know, you treat the body to help it to eliminate. So a lot of people would have a stomach related, in Chinese medicine, the understanding is the stomach and the spleen are supposed to transport and transform anything that we eat and to eliminate it out of the body. It takes the good out of it and to eliminate it. But if they're not doing their job properly, it ascends and it gets caught up in these areas. So we would actually treat the stomach for sinus related issues, colds, coughs and phlegm. So when you're clearing your throat, basically coughing it out. That's basically what you're doing. If you're lying on your bed and it's draining back, that's the whole idea. You eliminate it out through your mouth. So it's to help relieve it from there, because when you're standing upright, obviously it's falling into the cavities. When you're leaning back, it's coming back the way and it's trying to drain out of it. So if you did a bit of the facial massage and then you lay on your back, you probably find it move a little bit quicker for you. So yeah, as I was saying, when I treat people for sinusitis, I would treat their face and their body. But at the end of it, what I do is use a facial roller. And you may have seen these. There you get two-sided ones, small one, big one. Or you get a singular one. Actually, I have one like this, which is made, these are jade. The one I have at home is rose quartz. So my own is rose quartz. So you get a little bit of oil. So what I use in my clinic practice is a blend called RC. I'm not sure if that's coming out the right way around, but anyway. So RC stands for respiratory conditions or respiratory complaints. Now this is I have this pre-mixed up, a couple of drops in a carrier oil. I squirt a little on the palm of my hand. My client is on the table. I'm taking my finger, I'm dabbing it on the cheek like so, and gently along the forehead. So RC, I'm just going to read the list here because I never remember exactly what's in it. There's 3 types of eucalyptus. There's myrtle, marjoram, pine, which is a great one for alleviating, lavender, antibacterial components. There's cypress, very good for nasal. All of the tree oils actually are good. Eucalyptus is the best, but the tree oils generally. Spruce and peppermint is another great one. But be mindful, you notice I put it here, below the cheeks, and here. I didn't rub it around my eye, okay, because it will sting. Yeah, it could be painful, and I wouldn't go. And then you just use the roller. So this is a great little tool to have at home because it helps shift and move things. Now, I'm not digging it in, I'm just really gently massaging, and the little ball rolls, as you can see. So very nice, and it shifts and moves things. And even the oil alone, you know, it soaks in to the sinus area, but you're also smelling it. And it's a really, really nice blend, I have to say. I really, really like it. One of my favourite places to roll it actually is across my third eye, and I just found it so grounding. I may just drift off here for a couple of seconds. Yeah, it's really, really nice to do on the sinuses. And if you're interested, now I've only used the oil on this side, okay? So this side is clean. So if you're interested in minding underneath your eyes, you use the clean side and you just tap very gently. And wonderfully cooling. The natural stone is wonderfully cooling. If you want it really, really cold, you can put it in the fridge. So this is one. A facial roller is obviously for the face, but you can also use it as part of your skincare. It's great for regeneration, it's great for over scars, or if you have a bit of acne or something like that and you've got a little bit left over spot. Oh, I've got my cloth now. So those would be things I would use in the clinic. I do stock some of these, and I have them on my website if you're interested in one. Now I have it on with skincare oil, but if somebody is interested today, I can make you up a little bottle of the RC with that, and another little thing that I love to use. So these guys are another little home remedy. I have some of these in stock as well. They're a blend of seeds, and it's like snuff, okay? And there's little eucalyptus crystals in them. So that's them in a little bag. So you take a tissue like this. You put in a pinch of these guys in the centre of the tissue. Now you could just sniff them actually out of the bag. So these are my own ones. And usually what I do is I carry them around with me. And it's great actually for clearing your sinuses, right? But if you can imagine, and you're driving a car, maybe, and it's a beautiful sunny day like today, or it's a long drive and you're feeling a bit, I'm not one of those people who reaches for coffee. I would reach for an essential oil like eucalyptus, peppermint, and inhale them. But this is also another one. So you take the tissue and you give it a little twist, and it's all sealed up in there. You hold one nostril and you nice deep breath in. Oh, that's really nice. It's so clearing of your head. You know, if you're tired, it's not just for sinuses. Maybe if you've had a few wines the night before, or beers or whatever, you know, it just clears the head. It's lovely. Or I don't know, you're just a long drive. Let's not mention anything else. Really nice. It's so clearing for the nose. So today I have, if anybody's interested, wants to buy facial roller, a little blend of RC, which is lovely to use anyway, and some of those. So you can let me know if you're interested. And the facial roller, of course, you can use it, as I was saying, on my website. I have for, this is for skin, it's rosehip oil, and you can use it exactly. That's what I use every morning on my own skin, which is the reason why I made it. It's got 4 ingredients in it, and I'm 79. There you go. So another one you can use, another thing you can have, you're probably all familiar with using boiling water and steaming your head with a towel over it. And again, it's a place where you can put eucalyptus oil or peppermint. As I said, you could put pine, you could put cypress. Less is always more. Or the other thing you can use for the same thing is a diffuser, which can be equally as good. So you take your lids off, pop in your water, few drops of something like RC, eucalyptus, peppermint, cypress, pine. You put that in. Now for one this size, it says between 4 and 7 drops. I would always go less than more. More does not guarantee that you get the better outcome. Sometimes it can be actually just too much for you. So I'd always go for less and see how you feel, and then build it up incrementally. If you turn your diffuser on, so this is now cold steaming, so you can put your hand over it. So you might have seen these in a room, in a house, whatever. I have ones going here in my treatment space all the time. So you can hold your head over it. And you're inhaling it. So just pulling back. Inhale, exhale. And of course, this will run in the room where you are for 4 hours maybe. Well, this one will, depending on the one that you have. But it's also a great, like, looks great. Turn the light off on this one if you so wish. Looks great, makes the room smell good, and you're also inhaling it. So if I had a cold or I was feeling a bit unwell, what I do is I put a diffuser in my bedroom about an hour before I go to bed. And so the smell is in the whole of the room, not just in one area. And of course then the other thing you can do, and this would be like a passive diffuser, is you can take a tissue, just like the tissue I used with the other thing. You get your tissue. Now, some people will put drops on their bed or on their pillow, but see, if you rub your eyes into it, that could be really not great. I mean, you can not hurt yourself, but you know, it's uncomfortable, may not be totally agreeable. So you can take something like this oil blend, a few drops on it, place it on your bedside cabinet so you can smell it all night long, or place it on a radiator if it's summer or winter time, sorry, and therefore the heat will go through that and it passively diffuses out. I personally don't put it on my pillowcase because, yeah, I'd be afraid of getting it into my eyes. So Tamara's asking, any ideas for gargling after getting rid of the bacteria? Probably something like a salt wash would be really good. I use a Thieves mouthwash, and I find that wonderful because it's the properties that are in all the 5 oils that are in that. You can rinse that down and use that. Or you put lemon in water, actually, that would be a really good one. I wouldn't go as far as putting lavender in water. I don't think that would be, for my palate, wouldn't suit. But yeah, so salted water would be good. A mouthwash that isn't like Listerine or any of those. Tea's mouthwash, but you can make one, you know, you can make lots of things like that. Himalayan salt with warm water and a rinse and then spitting it out. And also if you just drink plenty of water and lemon, not because your body should be able to help you to eliminate it that way, you know, plenty of water in, as I said, or like even I drinking like a warm tea, that could be helpful as well to flush it down and out of your body, and plenty of it, of course. So there's a few ideas of what you can do with your sinuses. But yeah, if you have an awful lot of bother with them, I'd be mindful around diet, and definitely 1 or 2 sessions, usually 2 sessions, and you probably find a great difference in 2 sessions of acupuncture and great difference in sinuses. And I've treated people who've had ongoing. One lady I treated was in her 50s, and she would suffer with her sinuses every year before Christmas, and be on an antibiotic. And she came to see me, and I suggested the whole thing around dairy. And she said, well, what will I do for my calcium? Because I'm a certain age lady, and you know, you want to be mindful of calcium when you're a certain age. And I said to her, we'll take a good calcium supplement, but give up the dairy, give up the yogurt, because that really isn't helping you. And I think I saw her the following year once, and I haven't seen her since. So it has a part to play, even though there are those that might say that it doesn't. So I think that's it for sinuses related issues. As I said, I have a bunch of these available on my website if you're interested, and I can do up a little package of those with the oil and the snuff. I love the snuff. And of course the oil can be used in around the back of the ears, around here, because all of these are all interconnected. all interconnected. And down along here, I find using RC when you're not feeling the best, but you're soaking it in here into the lymph and into your system, and you're actually also inhaling it, so it helps it clear. So you don't have to actually put it right up around your face if it's not your wish. But I do hope that some of those are of some use to you. Maybe there's some new ideas, maybe you've heard them all before. And I hope today is not the day where your sinuses bother you in the slightest. So if there's no other questions, I think I will bid you adieu and say thank you very much for joining me.